Okay, let's get into this. We're doing a deep dive on a really unsettling piece of testimony. It's the account of a veteran sailor.
The captain of the MV Red Saber.
Right, a guy with 15 years running the same small cargo routes. Predictable stuff, you know. Just him and his skeleton crew, Gallagher, Holloway, and Rodriguez.
But this one particular journey, 3 days out from Spain, takes them into this vast, silent part of the ocean.
And as he puts it in his own report, it's a place that always keeps its own secrets.
And that silence, that huge empty space, that's what makes what happens next so terrifying.
Yeah.
They're past 2 in the morning, SODI 200 hours, just a routine watch, and then their entire world pivots on a single sound.
The radio crackles.
Pushing through all that static.
A weak voice just repeating the same thing over and over. Mayday, mayday. This is the bilk arm.
No, a mayday is a mayday. You hear that? You have to act. It's a professional mandate.
But the captain knew. I mean, you knew right away something was just fundamentally wrong with this one.
The professionalism. It starts to unravel almost immediately. He has Gallagher run the standard registry search.
And you're hoping it's a mistake.
Of course. A new ship with a similar name, maybe a clerical error in the database, something simple.
But the search comes back, and it confirms it. The ship is the Bishan, and its manifest date is 1921.
1921. Think about that. That's a distress call that's almost 100 years old.
So we have to stop here, because this is the moment it stops being a maritime rescue.
And it becomes a paradox, a
Yeah.
historical impossibility.
Because if it was just some old signal bouncing around the ionosphere, it would be degraded, it would drift.
Exactly. And the most chilling detail in the entire report, the thing the captain emphasizes over and over.
The signal wasn't old.
No, he says it was coming through live, clean, no drift, no degradation.
It was a fresh SOS, coming from a real location 200 miles ahead of them in open water.
From a ship that should have been dust for 70, 80 years. So what you have here isn't a radio echo.
It's a lure, an active, perfectly maintained lure.
And that realization just shatters the psychology of the crew.
It's not a rescue mission anymore.
No, it's an investigation into something that shouldn't exist. And you see the crew start to crack.
Rodriguez, the old hand who's seen it all, he starts muttering about bad luck.
Right. That this is something unnatural, something you just don't meddle with.
While Holloway, he's the more modern, cynical one, he offers up the only rational explanation he can think of.
Pirates.
Yeah, pirates using some clever historical bait to draw in a ship like theirs.
Which is a perfectly logical way to interpret a clean, unexpected signal. It's the only thing that makes sense.
But the captain, he sticks to his code. They heard a mayday. And no matter how impossible it seems, they are professionally, ethically obligated to check it out.
So they set the course, directly for the impossible coordinates.
And the moment they do, the sea itself seems to change.
A fog. The description of the fog is just, it's not natural.
It rolls in instantly. He calls it dense and suffocating. So thick it blurs the ocean and the sky into one gray void.
It's like the sea is pulling a curtain down, hiding the stage for what's about to happen.
They can't see a thing, but the radar is screaming at them.
A huge, solid target. No distortion, no flickering. Whatever is out there is real, and it is massive.
The captain tries the radio again and again. Bishan, do you read?
And then, the moment they arrive, the century-old distress call just stops.
Gone.
Complete silence, just static.
And if you're looking at this as a narrative, that silence is the proof.
It's proof of malicious intent. The signal was only there to do one job, lure them in. Once the prey was in the trap, it went quiet.
Then the fog thins just enough for them to see it, and the Bishan emerges.
And it's a ghost ship, a spectral vision, but it's also profoundly solid.
A merchant vessel from another time. Dark wood, masts like skeletons against the sky.
But the thing that stands out, the thing that's so deeply wrong, there's no damage.
Right. We expect ghost ships to be wrecks, broken by storms, half sunk.
The Bishan is pristine, the sails are furled, the hull is sound. It just looks like one day in 1921, the crew dropped anchor and walked away.
So why the SOS?
Exactly. Why the SOS?
The psychological effect on the crew must have been immense. They lowered the dinghy, and Rodriguez, he's practically paralyzed with fear.
You can feel his reluctance, barely able to
And
climb the rope ladder onto this relic.
And the ship is just eerily still. Unlit lanterns swaying in the breeze. The air is heavy.
They shout out, "Bishan, anyone aboard?"
But only that deep, heavy silence of the ocean answers back.
The captain knows time is a factor, so trying to keep some professional order, he gives the command to split up.
He and Holloway will take the main deck. Gallagher gets the upper decks.
And Rodriguez,
Fatefully, gets sent below deck.
with a 10-minute deadline to regroup.
So the captain and Holloway head for the command center, the captain's quarters.
And inside, the air is just thick, heavy with salt and old, stale timber. But the room?
It's strangely orderly.
Right. The bedsheets are neatly tucked. The brass handles are tarnished, sure, but not from neglect, just from time. It's not a disaster scene.
Their focus goes right to the desk. Worked papers, dried ink, and a letter-bound logbook. Open.
Holloway points out this strange smell, damp and sour, but not like rot. It's the smell of something sealed away in the dark for 100 years.
In this logbook, it's the only timeline they have for what really happened, and it proves the disaster wasn't a storm, it was internal.
It starts normally enough. May 3rd, 1921. Good spirits. Routine sailing.
Then, just 1 week later, the ship's entire reality just shatters.
May 10th, the entry reads, "A voice below deck. Crew uneasy."
A voice. Not a noise, not a creak from the hull. A voice. Something was communicating with them.
And that seed of paranoia just explodes 3 days later, May 13th. The men are restless, beginning to whisper.
The weather's fine, the ship is sound, but the crew is turning on each other. Their minds are being corrupted.
And the speed of it is terrifying. It's only 5 more days until the final entry.
Scrawled hastily, May 18th. The sea is speaking. The men are listening. I am the only one left.
The whole crew just gone. Not from a storm, not from a sickness. They succumbed to this influence.
And the final piece of evidence in that room. The captain's personal chest.
Untouched.
Full of ordinary things. Clean clothes, a shaving kit, a pocket watch.
He was interrupted. He didn't flee a disaster. He just vanished in the middle of his daily routine.
He was interrupted. And right then, the silence on the Boschian breaks.
A deep, dull thud from outside the room.
Followed by a shuffling sound. Heavy. Dragging.
And then they hear Gallagher's voice shouting Rodriguez's name, but it's sharp. Panic.
Their 10 minutes are up. And Rodriguez is missing.
This is the moment it pivots. It's no longer a historical mystery.
The danger is real. It's present.
The captain, Gallagher, and Holloway race down to the lower decks, and that sour, damp smell is 100 times stronger down there.
They're shouting for Rodriguez. No answer. Just the groaning of the old ship.
And then a crash.
Wood splintering.
Followed by a sound that is just profoundly wrong. A low, wet gurgling.
The detail of what they find. It's brutal. Gallagher's flashlight beam catches a trail of red.
And then they see him. Rodriguez. His body it's torn apart. Shredded.
The captain's report is blunt. He wasn't shot. He didn't fall. He was clearly eaten.
What kind of thing lives on a ship for a century and does that?
Holloway just panics. He wants to leave right now.
Which is the only sane reaction. They were looking for survivors. They found this.
But the captain, driven by that code, that duty to his men, he insists they have to retrieve the body.
A decision that cost them everything.
Because as they bend down to move him, Gallagher spots something. At the far end of the corridor.
Their first look at the enemy. At the sailors of the deep.
The description in the report. It's this nightmare combination of human decay and something from the sea.
It's tall, bloated, swollen. The skin is this blue-gray color with thickly green patches, cracked like old leather.
But it's the details, the unnatural details.
Right.
That's what gets you. Clusters of black barnacles are growing on its shoulders and arms.
Like the sea itself has claimed ownership of the body.
Its gums are black and rotting, but the real horror is its mouth. Small, slick tendrils are writhing in and out like feelers.
It's a man who has been corrupted into a living, predatory thing.
And then it moves toward them, and it speaks. Not a voice, but a wet, gurgling croak.
They drop Rodriguez and they run. Holloway slips.
And Captain grabs the first thing he can find, a crowbar, and just swings.
And when he hits it, this is the proof. The ultimate proof it's unnatural.
It doesn't bleed?
No. Dark, brackish water spills out of the wound. It smells of salt and decay.
And his fingers are webbed, thick with barnacles.
Holloway scrambles up and finishes it with a pipe. It just collapses, deflates like a punctured tire.
But as the adrenaline fades, the true horror dawns on them.
The creature. It was wearing the tattered remains of a 1920s sailor's uniform.
That was one of the men. One of the men who heard the sea speaking.
And Holloway, catching his breath, looks down that dark corridor and asks the question.
The question that changes everything. How many crewmen would a ship this size have had back then?
At least 30.
30 sailors.
And the moment that number hangs in the air, a sound rises up from the decks below.
Not one monster. A horde.
He describes it as a Chorus of damp, shuddering exhales, all breathing together.
And they swarm, dozens of them, crawling, dragging themselves, sprinting toward the intruders.
The fight for answers is over. Now it's just a fight for the stairs.
A frantic race for their lives. Gallagher gets to the railing first. He's about to jump.
But a webbed hand shoots out of the darkness below him, grabs his ankle.
His scream is cut short. It turns into that same horrible gurgling sound as he's dragged back down.
Gone. Swallowed by the swarm.
The captain and Holloway fight their way out onto the deck, grabbing rusted poles, broken planks, anything they can use as a weapon.
There's no plan left, just survival. They get to the edge, turn together, and leap into the black water.
They make it to the dingy. They're rowing away, exhausted, injured, and they look back.
They can see these vague, bloated shapes lining the railing of the Bishan, just watching them.
But the final, cruelest trick is still to come.
The final psychological trap, tailored for sailors.
Voices. Clear voices, rising from the water all around them, calling them back.
And it's the voices of Rodriguez and Gallagher.
Perfect. Recognizable, pleading with them, "Captain, come back, please!"
And Holloway just screams, "It wasn't him, it wasn't them."
They row until they collapse, knowing those familiar voices were just another part of the lore, the monster using friendship and duty against them one last time.
By the time we get back to the Red Saber, the fog has closed in again. The Bishan is gone,
As if it was never there at all.
leaving them silent, exhausted, with 2 members of their crew missing and no physical proof of the horror they just escaped.
So what do we take away from this? The analysis really has to circle back to that final log entry.
The sea is speaking and the men are listening.
And that final sophisticated trick with the voices.
Yeah, the sea didn't just transform those men into monsters, it enslaved them. It kept their identities, their voices, to use as weapons.
That perfect, live, clean distress signal maintained for a century. That's not random.
No, that's calculated malice. It preyed on the one thing that would guarantee a response, a sailor's professional obligation. The Bishan wasn't trapped in the past.
It was fishing in the present.
So the final thought for you, our listener, is this. What kind of power does it take to do that? To turn 30 men into these barnacled horrors and then maintain a complex radio broadcast for a century?
Is the ocean just an indifferent force? Or is it something much, much worse? Something that learns the sound of your friend's voice and then uses it against you across 100 years of silence? Think about that.